now, so I am so infinitesimal. Oh, they say it started with a big bang, but they say it was really just a small thing. Strangely, I'm feeling like a big bang, 'cause I've been...
Hello, this is Eunice Randall of Buffalo Lab Radio Free. I'm here at World Maker Faire in New York, 2015, and I'm here with Sabrina Merlo, who is the program director of Maker Faire.
Yeah. Hello.
Thanks for coming on our show.
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about what goes on behind the scenes to put on a fair of this size?
A lot. It's a pretty large-scale endeavor that we do 2 flagship shows a year. And large-scale here means probably Maker Faire New York. This might be somewhere around 90 to 100,000 people over the weekend.
Wow.
And our other flagship show in May happens in the Bay Area, and that one last year was about 145,000 people. So the inputs around managing that many people, not to mention the logistics around like exhibit placement and logistics around the makers. There's a sales team that does sponsorship sales and developing those relationships with companies to support the show that make the wheels go round.
Right.
That team is, works all year round doing that. And then there's probably a core team of like 5 that work, pretty much all year round.
Wow.
Doing marketing, PR, and developing those things, maker relations. And then, of course, we have the magazine and the blog and all of that. But just in terms of the show and the show production, I think our weekend crew maybe ends up being like 250 people.
Okay. And those people come on just for the time when the fair is happening?
Yeah. I mean, there's a team that arrives maybe a week before the show. And in New York, we bring a lot of people from California who've been a part of our production crew, potentially since the beginning, or, maybe 6 years or something. We have a really interesting group of people that plan their year around Maker Faire. They may not be people that do shows all the time. They might be somebody who's in arts management who actually ends up doing all of our signage and branding. And that's her role at Maker Faire. She doesn't do that for any other show,
right.
But she's somebody that is fits well in the team, loves Maker Faire, and to some extent has been hand selected to be part of the crew.
Would you say most of the team has been selected? Like, how do you put those people together? Like, it sounds like a group of really eclectic, intelligent people.
I would agree. It's true, and I think that's the talent of the leadership of Dale and Sherry and Louise is actually cultivating this community of people that put on this show. And so even the heavy equipment operators have been with us year after year after year and help to some extent create the show in a way that isn't just moving objects around. They have a lot of intelligence about the culture, and they are makers themselves. So that crew, we come together every 6 months and put on a show in an amazing way that's kind of like a finely tuned machine.
How long does it take to set up the whole fair?
This show, I think, took about a week. We got here, I think, Monday. Monday started actually loading in things and building it up.
And how long will it take to tear it all down again?
It's faster to load out. It's easier. But still, there will be people here working probably for 4 days after the show, getting everything completely out of here.
What would you say is like one of the biggest challenges of setting up and holding this event? Is that a hard question?
Well, if you're thinking about logistics primarily, I mean, raising the money to do a show this large is a whole bunch of work. And that's almost as much as thinking about what it takes to the trucking and the deliveries. I mean, we have our own shipping infrastructure and the way we deal with deliveries for sponsors and pallets full of stuff for, these big installations that are put together by these big companies, and tracking them and delivering them at the right time, or to makers who are shipping things from potentially overseas. There's so much thought and experience and rigor. And then every show we iterate. Every show is a learning experience. Everyone, and that's the benefit of having the same people that come back year after, show after show after show, because even operations is fine-tuning how they set up the boneyard, which is where all of the back of house stuff is. I know I run the stages at Maker Faire, and so every show is a learning experience about how to do AV better, how to backdrops, lighting, it's never good enough.
Well, it sounds like a lot of effort put into a show that like a lot of people come and really enjoy and get a lot out of. What would you say is the most rewarding thing for you, like being at the fair after you planned all this out and now you get to see it?
Just seeing people happy. I mean, there's not a lot of upset, unhappy people walking around here. Also, seeing the makers enjoy themselves and meet each other and get the attention and the acclaim that they should. I think that's really gratifying for all of us. Like, we all care a lot about makers. We all love the work, and we all really appreciate that there's this opportunity to celebrate them. So it makes me really happy to introduce makers to each other. I've made just a few connections today, which are really like, these people need to know each other.
Definitely.
And that part is really, a wonderful result of, and it actually is the reason why we do it.
Right. That's awesome. If people want to get involved with Maker Faire, like, what's a good way that you think like the average person can kind of like get involved with it? Give back.
Well, this is my main job all year round, is I run the licensing program for Maker Faire. So you can start a Maker Faire where you live. You can search Make a Maker Faire, and there's information about how to bring a Maker Faire to your town. They can be very modest. It's just a gathering of people showing and sharing, right?
There were like over 100 last year, right?
This year there'll be over 150
Wow.
fairs in 30 countries, reaching pretty much close to 1.2 million people.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. But maker spaces, I think the fair is the party, and getting together and building the community where you are around other makers that want to share tools and resources. I mean, that is to some extent the backbone of this scene, is
For sure. Well, awesome. Congratulations on another excellent Maker Faire New York.
So glad you enjoyed it.
And thanks again for coming on the show.
Awesome.
And thank you for watching
Thank you.
Buffalo Lab Radio Free.